Amina, how are you? What would you like to say?
Hello, Harris. Thank you.
Hi.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk because I have heard about, Prophet Apostate. He is funny. Then I found your channel as well. I mean, I have always believed in Islam in a way, as you can say, I believed in Allah, and I believe that if anything happens, negative or good, it is what He has fated for us all. And but my family has never been, you can say, very much into Islam. They have not been people, praying 5 times a day or having Ramadan, anything. And I live in Denmark, so there is nothing. And they have been, not typical people staying with Pakistani families. The culture, how sometimes they can be dominative. So I remember once when, my age was, you can say, around 19 or something. And I said to my mom, like, I like to date someone. And you know what she said to me, Haris? I remember, she said, remember, we are Sunnis. You should not date somebody who's Shia.
Well,
And I,
well, at least she allowed you to date.
but it was very much like in quietness, because my father shouldn't know. She was very open minded. But I remember,
There will come a time. There will come a time when they'll be like, when they will keep changing the standard, and they would be like, we're Muslims.
yeah.
You can date Shia, Wahhabi, even Ahmadi, whoever, but not an atheist
I
or
remember.
any other person. Yeah.
Yeah. She said not a Shia. And I remember thinking, how on earth between Muslims there are people who are not real Muslims? What on earth does this mean? I know I'm not supposed to date a Danish guy or somebody else like that, but a Muslim in Muslims, that confused me. That was the first step for me, at least. And I remember I have been very much split. I didn't understand many things in Islam. I remember asking my mom, where does Allah come from? Who is He?
Everyone
And
asked that question. This is what I was telling previous caller Dita, that
yeah,
a lot of people, a lot of
yeah,
children at very
yeah,
young ages, between 6, 7, 8, they ask the same question to their mom, because at that age, your parents are the smartest people on earth because you
yeah,
listen to everything they say. And then
yeah,
you ask them, your mom and dad say, oh, God is so and so, he's so big, so powerful, blah, blah, blah. And then you ask, and then you say, well, okay, well, because, it's like you try to go back and back and back. And
yeah,
then you go, well, who created God then? Or where did God come from? Then, oh, we don't know that, son. Okay. Ah, gotcha. That's the chink in your armory.
yeah. And the typical answer I got was, Shh, you don't ask these questions. This is just how it is. And I
Oh,
was
you want
like,
to show your face? Sorry, I mean, I just realized.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
you what? Are you
yeah,
okay to show?
yeah. I'm
Okay.
okay. I have nothing to hide.
Right. Okay. Good. Well, nice to
Yeah,
see you. Yeah.
same.
Yeah. Carry on. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and then I just simply, you can say, forgot everything, because my father was strict, but other than that, my life was very simple. No restrictions as like that. But then my life went on, and at the age of, you can say, I also got married, no problems and all. But where my question started really towards Islam, because I never spoke about Muhammad. You know how Islamic, many Muslim people, they are like, Muhammad is this, and Muhammad is almost as if he's the God himself. Um, but in Denmark, we had a situation around 2000, between 13 to 15. There was a case of drawing of Muhammad's face.
Oh yeah, Danish cartoons. But that happened back in 2003 or 4, 5, I think.
It was during that time that there was too much of a chaos. They were burning the cars in the city, a lot of problems. And then I started questioning. It was slowly, getting built up. And then I realized that something's wrong. Why are they after Muhammad? Who is Muhammad? I never thought about the Prophet Muhammad. I must say, my focus was always on Moses or Jesus, the movies, the historical movies.
Yeah, like the
But
Ten Commandments and the Message, and yeah,
yeah,
those were pretty big. Yeah.
yeah, the classical. And then I started realizing there is something wrong here. Why are they after Muhammad? Then I spoke to my mother, who was very religious at that point. She said, oh, he's the best, he's the this, he's the that. And I was like, something's wrong, because the people of Denmark in public are saying that he's a pedophile. And I said to my mom, how come a very good and well-known prophet can be a pedophile and Muslims are acknowledging it? Because me as a Muslim, I don't want to acknowledge Muhammad as a pedophile. So I decided to open the books. And when I say books, I talk about hadith. I opened the book. I went totally crazy. I mean, I started studying, researching everything. Then I went to my mother and I said, listen, I'm not following hadith anymore because I don't want to follow a book which degrades a prophet I believe in.
Yeah. So that was out of love for the prophet because you found such ridiculous stuff in there. For example, there's one we were talking about while we're talking about silly hadith. So there's one I spoke about it in light of Muhammad hijab saga, where a woman comes to Muhammad and says, "I have this guy, and he's grown up, and I'm worried that he might pervert me. You know, like he might look at me with naughty eyes." So, so Prophet Muhammad goes, in order for him to stop looking at you, if he needs to become your mahram. Sorry, yeah, mahram. He needs to become your mahram. And how do you do it? You suckle him, so he drinks milk, your milk. She goes, but Prophet, he's a fully grown man.
Yeah.
Prophet goes, I know he's a fully grown man.
Exactly.
Look at this. He actually smiled. Allah's messenger smiled and said, I already know that he's a young man.
Yeah, yeah.
And there are obviously tons of them. Obviously, you forget about them. But there's another one that I shared that a guy came and he said something about it, and Prophet Muhammad put water in his mouth and gargled and spat back in his face. It's like, what the hell is this crap? You know, a slave girl drank his urine accidentally. He didn't say that. And then he goes, oh, now you have saved yourself from the fires of the hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, so those and I understand a lot of people. This is the reason why a lot of people are actually becoming Quranists, because it becomes so messy to believe in Allah and respect Muhammad if you actually go by the Hadith books.
And I actually lost a friend because she said he's the best. So then I said, he's not the best, because there is a verse, many verses in Quran which says that we do not distinguish any one of them. Anyway, a friend of mine who I had a friendship with for 20 years, I lost her. Anyway, further, what happened with me was, that was just the beginning, Haris. I just left Hadith, and the people online on Facebook were saying to me, Amina, if you leave the Hadiths and you just follow Quran, then you are a disbeliever.
Yeah.
I mean, I was saying I'm following Quran. I'm not following the Hadith. That doesn't make me a non-believer. They said you are a disbeliever. You are a kufr.
Yeah. And you know why they say that? Because there are a lot of practices that you have, majority of your tradition, your rituals come by Hadith and Sunnah. You know, the Quran doesn't tell you how to pray. Quran doesn't even tell you there are 5 prayers.
No.
And I think Hajj is not mentioned, or
Hajj is mentioned, but the tawaf doesn't say how many times you should.
Yeah, 7 times. So most of these things are not mentioned.
No.
And that's the reason why they say that and you know, like what should be, like, all these punishments, all the fake, everything comes mostly from Ravaya, from Hadiths. And yeah, basically, if you take that out, you're left with only, I think, 5% of Islam. And this is why some of the modern Quranists I've spoken to, they say we don't even pray, you know, like the traditional salat. They say we just salat, the word salat is mentioned, it just means pray to God. So we just pray and that's it. They literally pray like, and you're done. You don't have to do the 5 times, all of that.
Nothing. And then I started saying to myself, while I was doing this kind of research, I just started saying, you know, looking up in my living room and saying, please show me the truth. And after 4 years, I actually ended up leaving Islam. That was not the purpose, Haris. The purpose was for me that, yes, I'm a Muslim, but what is it that I'm following? In fact, what is my belief? What is Islam? And as much as I went deeper in my search of the truth, further did I get away from the Islam. Yeah. I found out many things. I found out, for example, like the Hadith is invalid according to the Quran. Many verses in Quran says that to follow other Hadiths than the Hadith, I mean the Quran itself, is a sin.
Right. We actually, I was actually, I'm gonna have to look that up, because to the best of my, and we had this conversation on my Urdu show with someone where we said that there's actually no direct order in the Quran that you have to follow any hadith. I mean, Quran does order the believers, Muslims, to follow their prophet. Now, the Quran doesn't tell you that what should be considered the hadith. I mean, the whole process of isnad, the chain of narrations, all of that, these later scholars established that, right? So how do we know? And obviously everyone knows that the process is flawed. That's why a lot of these hadiths are daif, or there's grading of hadiths like Sahih and then Hasan and then daif, which is totally invalid, false. And one chain is faulty, then you just throw out the whole hadith. So obviously this is not a foolproof idea, and it's not even mentioned in the Quran. So did Allah not again think about it? That's why it would have been better for Allah to send his prophet in the age of cameras, where you can record your prophet and you could record his every movement and then go by that. But obviously Muhammad just created. It's got Delta. He created everything.
He's so fake. I mean, I have studied Quran. I mean, I'm very much into some politics in Denmark, and then I'm talking about Islam. I'm criticizing Islam in Denmark, and it has gotten me into trouble with some imams. And imam, yes, and no imam is. So
you're like a famous ex-Muslim in Denmark now. Are you?
Yes.
Well, that's very good. How come we hadn't heard of you?
Because I'm very new in it. It's only been like hardly a year, and but yeah, and they can't answer me if there is, you can say, freedom in Islam, which is there is no any kind of freedom. And then I ask them, this is a very tricky question. Remember this. They cannot give you an answer where in Quran it says directly that Muhammad says, that Allah says to follow Muhammad Sunnah. Haris, there is nowhere in the Quran.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere.
There is nowhere. And another problem is Surah 61 verse 6 says that Isa says that after me, Ahmad is gonna come, not Muhammad. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. What verse is this? Surah 66 verse?
Surah 61 verse 6, it says, and then it says that Jesus says that after me, Ahmad is gonna come. But then, Haris, many Muslims say that Ahmad is the same as Muhammad. But that's a problem, because the Quran can only be interpreted by Allah alone and nobody else, according to Surah 3 verse 7.
Oh yeah, that's a common one that we use against Muslims. Yeah, and then in other places, Quran also says that it is very clear, and Allah has written it in the most clearest of language. And yet, forget about us ordinary people. We're stupid. Okay, we get it. But even their own scholars can't agree on it. So obviously, it's a very problematic book. I mean, you're trying to give your final message. Basically, if it was from the creator of the universe, that would have been the most important document in the history of the universe, or at least in the history of planet Earth, right? And then so that important piece of communication is written in riddles. Nobody understands what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. You need you need tafasis, you need exegesis, and who are also relying on hearsay. Because people of that time, it's just coming forward. Okay, that verse was revealed at that certain time. Imagine if that's false. If any little chain is faulty on that one. For example, the whole Muhammad's affair with Maria Kiptia. I keep forgetting. It's chapter 65 or one of the chapters that has the first 6 verses in relation to that. And I made quite a few videos on that. And there are 2 types of commentaries going on around this. It says the verses go something like, "Oh, Prophet, don't forbid yourself from something that we have allowed you." And then and don't listen to your wives; they give you a hard time. And then he threatens the wives. He said, "Hey, wives, we can get rid of you. I can give him better wives than you two," which was obviously he was referring to Aisha and Hafsa. So there are 2 types of commentaries on that. One say, oh, that's because Muhammad was sleeping with Maria Kiptia, and Hafsa caught him, and she said, "Hey, what are you doing? Don't do this to my slave girl." And then the other one, that's number 1 commentary, and it makes sense, perfectly makes sense with the verses. And the other one, no, it wasn't about the sex slave woman. It was actually about he ate some honey, which gave him really bad smell, and women and his wives didn't like that smell, so that they forbade him from eating that. So but again, it's the point is whichever one might be true. Okay, I'm giving you a concession, but the point is nobody knows what's going on. Nobody
Nothing.
knows what kind of a pathetic document is this.
Nothing. And sometimes I feel like that is, I mean, the religion Islam. When I look at Islam, I feel like um, that it's a copy. It has taken a little bit of everything from all the religions that there are out there. If you look at the Muslim prayer, the 5-time prayer, it is a copy of the religion of Zoroastrian. It is a
But the
copy.
the, the, the actual prayer, the way they bow and everything, that's very similar to Zoroastrian prayer.
Very much the timings, if you notice what time they pray, it's the same as the Muslims.
Fajr,
And
Zohar, Maghrib.
yes, another thing, if you have noticed, I think you haven't, believe me, I have studied it so much, I go crazy. If you have seen, and it is with no disrespect meant for anyone, towards anyone, but you see the Indian god which wears has holded that fork in their hand. Have
Oh
you seen
yeah.
that fork? It looks the Arabic Allah. Have you ever noticed? It
Oh
says,
yeah, I've seen that. I've seen so many memes about it. People have made those memes. Trishul, it's called trident. The Trishul,
yeah,
and yeah, it goes like this, and then but you need a bit of it. But there's no hay at the end of that. But
no,
anyway, what's the point?
but it's like they have still copied it. You
But
know,
that's just Arabic. No, but that's just the letters of Arabic. I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know about that.
too many
But
coincidences. I mean, their tasbih is wearing, but they're
no,
wearing.
but that's yeah.
Look
Look, I
like
mean,
it.
I don't know about that one. That could very well be coincidence. I mean, they're not going to change the alphabets of Arabic because it looks similar to a trident. But anyway, so look, thank you very much. I mean, you should definitely send me some information as well about your work. It's obviously very important. So, how's the ex-Muslim scene in Denmark? I mean, is there ex-Muslims of Denmark organization
Yes,
and are people coming out?
I can tell you this much that because of my videos, I have a YouTube channel of on the, from
What's
this.
your YouTube channel called?
It is called Amina Sardar.
Right. Oh
I
yes, I can see that. Right.
Yes, Amina Sardar. You know, DF. Yeah, L for Denmark.
No, no,
It's
no.
a,
I can see that. So let me share the screen with people so they can. This is Amina's channel, so do give it a subscribe, guys, because obviously we need more ex-Muslim voices, more localized ex-Muslim voices, and especially of ex-Muslim women, because that is absolutely important. And make sure you press the bell icon.
I will definitely go with my English language as well. That's for sure.
All right.
Uh,
So this one's Danish, is it?
Yes, but it will go on some English as well because there are some requests. Some people have asked me, so I said I will do that. But the
Right.
thing is, because of my videos, there are some who has been contacting me on my Facebook channel, and they said that we are a couple of us out there, but we dare not come out like you have come out.
Yeah, you need to, and see, this is why it's so important. And if when you show your face, and I say that we ex-Muslims living in Western countries, we owe it to those who live in Muslim countries and they can't come out. Just before you, I spoke with another Pakistani ex-Muslim, and he obviously couldn't show his face or name or anything because, well, for obvious reasons, his life will be in jeopardy. And this is the reason why we have to show our faces to encourage other people to come out. And that would take some load off our shoulders as well, because like I'm when it comes to atheists, I think I'm probably I'm the Pakistani public enemy number one, because I do that ever since I started doing that in Urdu as well. That's
Yeah.
when I started drawing a lot of heat. But when we get other ex-Muslims who show their faces, well, the Pakistani ex-Muslims who show their faces, that would make it much better. And this is, I think, Amina, that's very wonderful of you that you're showing your face and you're doing it in your local Danish language. And yeah, please corrupt the minds of the young Danish Muslims.
But I can tell you this much that next year, maybe that will put a smile on your face. I think so. Next year,
Well,
I'm thinking about, I have a small project. I'm going to come out with it at the end of this year that I'm going to invite the prominent imams of Denmark, 2 or 3 of them, and have a debate in the open with them why they think that Islam is so wonderful. And I will give my reasons why I believe it is the worst of the worst religion.
Yeah, well, that would absolutely be wonderful, and we are all with you. Just a question by Dolly. She's asking, when will you be launching your English videos?
It's they are gonna come. They're gonna come very soon. They are
Right.
coming. They're on the way. Yeah,
Yeah.
because many
Right.
people ask for it.
Yeah, because I think kind of format that Apostate Prophet did for a very long time, where he specifically just spoke about certain elements of Islam, and I kind of gave up on that. I kind of got bored. It kind of got boring for me, and so that's why I started doing this, and I cover more social issues. I think that's more important because that way you can actually relate to a lot of Pakistanis and a lot of Muslims as well. Because when you show them, hey, this is happening in Muslim lands, and so they can put religion away, but I can't help myself. I mean, every opportunity I get to bash Islam, I do that. Anyway, all right, well, thank you very much, Amina. I'm really happy that I got to speak with you. Best of luck with everything you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, folks, that was Amina. And as I said, Amina Sardar, you do Google it and YouTube it. And obviously, I think at this current point, she's only got her channel is in Danish. That's why most of us might not be able to understand her, but she would hopefully launch her English channel. To help me produce more videos like these, support me on Patreon or PayPal.